Healing crystals, skincare routines, knitting a sweater, fitting in jeans. With Katie and Sarah, no need to worry, you're on a lady journey.
Lady journey.
Lady journey.
All right, we are recording, right? Right.
Oh, great. No, that's the perfect. Include it. Lady journey. Never naming names.
Never naming names and addressing
Always lashing
a
out.
pre-chef meeting of problems in the workforce that we have.
Yes.
We are not at customer service.
We cannot offer customer service in any way, but we want to thank everybody. We've got some really lovely reviews on Amazon, or on Amazon. Whoops. where we're owned by now.
Yes.
No, on Apple Podcasts, we got somebody wrote the nicest review that was like, I came here thinking this was a all women Journey cover band and I've stayed. And it was so fun, light.
We should pivot to that.
That's don't stop. But yeah, that would be a good pivot for us. I mean, I like pivoting, which we may
We'll
get into.
address,
We may get into that later on a Patreon episode if you're interested. But I like pivoting as that's kind of like my life. It's like instead of like when I encounter an obstacle, I just go to completely something else until I hit an obstacle there. So I'm kind of like breaknecking, just giving myself whiplash around. I'm like, I'm doing a screenplay. Never mind. Now I'm gonna be a mom. Nope. Okay. Now I'm over here. And it's a great way to keep your life exciting.
It is. I always feel like what we're doing is like I see the obstacle and I'm like, I'm not going to do it. Let me just take the longer route.
Just go
thinking that
around
it's just long and steady, but
Yeah.
it's not. That you're like, I should have just made a whole bunch of content online and then sold my soul to the devil.
Yeah. That's where I'm going. I'm just gonna, check out my TikTok because it's just like, and that's what sells now. They say mediocrity is the pinnacle of creativity right now.
I know. Well, that's the thing is like I see how people are getting success from themselves, and I'm like this. My hair would fall out. Like if I had to do Wild and Out, I would get sick.
Oh, you don't want to do an improvised rap in front of a live studio audience? What? Yo, my name is Katie. Ever been to Whole Foods? But no shade on the people that are doing it because you're very talented. You're very talented at being embarrassed.
They are. That's what my sister. I showed my sister a clip of Wild and Out, and she goes, "This is embarrassing." And I'm like this, yeah, but they're doing better in life than you are.
Yeah, but they're making a lot of money. So I like being kind of like in the entertainment world. It's kind of like you are just in a dunk tank. You're just in a dunk tank and you're just goading people into drowning you. And they are more than willing to do it for about $2.
Well, I also think of like like sex work, but some people can look down upon it. But then I'm like, aren't we all just kind of like man on the street really just spreading our asshole?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we're all doing stuff that is against our soul.
Yeah, it's like creativity in a way is like stripping, like, oh, do you want to see this? Like, yeah, I'm just talking about blowing an old man. It's like I didn't go to school for that. Oh, well, welcome to Lady Journey, everybody.
Lady Journey.
Welcome to Lady Journey. As we always do, we like to start off in chaos.
And wind our way back down.
Wind our way back down to
where
the
we're
journey.
like, this is what we're going to do. We have structure and everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And that is a lady journey. It's like you start the day. Ooh, you have your coffee. You're feeling great. Come 2 p.m., you're crying. Why? You don't know. You have a crash.
There's the afternoon depression.
Yes.
Joe gets it so bad.
I get it bad.
Yeah. You feel like, because I feel like doing this or anytime starting your business, you're like, is there something I could be doing now? And if I'm not, this is why I'm a failure.
Yes. When you freelance, it's so like you think every hour rested is an hour wasted. You're like, I could be scrolling on Instagram right now.
I could engage or make a thing from my couch.
Yeah. I could be using my couch as content right now. But yeah, you do have to put boundaries on. I love a girl and I want to get her on. Her name is Jenny. Do you know who I'm talking about? Jenny.
No.
Maybe that's not her name. She does I can see her face in my mind. She does a lot of great online content and she writes a lot. She writes for like Forbes.
Still no.
She's posting all the time. She posts like fun stuff. Anyway, she's blonde.
Okay.
She had red hair for a little bit, but then she came back to blonde.
Okay, good.
But she wrote a fun article. I love her articles. She's kind of like a freelance writer as well. But she wrote a great article for Forbes that was about freelancers having boundaries and putting boundaries on your time. And one of her main suggestions was you always, even if you like ignore the boundary, you set it in the first place. You know, like by the end of the day, you're like, okay, I'm going to quit working at 6 p.m. I'm not going to be like having a spiral at 9:45 that I could be doing something for my business.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you do have to like rest yourself, and you do need to. We live in this culture that's like, when you're sleeping, you're not working, but it's like you actually need to sleep in order to work the next day.
Well, that's why I like the 9 to 5. It was easier for me to have the boundary, but I feel like when you're freelancing, my time management is horrific. I peter around till about 2 p.m. and then I'm doing a little sprint before spots, and then a lot of the times working till 2 a.m.
Yes.
And that's only if Joe's not around. And then sometimes I will know that we've had something important to do, like quality time, and I'm like, I can't because I fucked around today, scrolling or whatever, or thinking that I have to clean my fridge out, which is not important at this time.
Yes, you get into a space. Oh, Jenny Hogan is the girl's name. That's her name.
I know, yes, Jenny's a comic.
She's a comic.
Yes.
And you get into a space where you think you should continue working, but you're also having diminishing returns, and that's when I start getting like my harebrained schemes.
The get I'm like, rich stuff.
Yeah, I'll just go on YouTube and I'll follow every person in the world.
Yes.
And then they'll follow me back. And that'll only take me about 4 years. And that's college. And, you know, put in the time. But no, I have been using Ophira's system that she gave us.
Pomodoro?
I like the
named
Pomodoro.
After a tomato, right?
Tomato, yeah. I've been using that one where you work 25 and then take 5-minute break. And then I've also been using her system that she gave. If you guys didn't check out our episode, Time Management with Ophira Eisenberg, she has a 5-part system where she rates.
Is it kind of like, is this worth it?
Is it worth it? And I've been using that to say yes and say no to stuff. And I'm still saying yes to stuff that, you know, I don't know that I'm using it in an honest way with myself, but it is helping. It's helping to have some kind of system to put things through, you know, regardless of if I think it's a good opportunity or not. Just having some kind of way to prioritize, so I'm not like showing up at an alligator tank, you know, like, hi, I'm here for the kid's birthday party. Anyone want to have stand up? But yeah.
No, I know it is. Well, because I think all of it is not worth it. That's my problem.
Yeah.
I'm like, this gig I know there will be 7 people here.
You get into a space where you're like, I will fly to Montana. I'm going to fly to Montana. I will be making $37.
Yeah. Well,
but if I don't, then I'm quitting.
Yeah, well, it is hard because I think about this now. I got asked to do this festival up in upstate New York, but it's nowhere near a convenient airport.
Okay.
The pay sounds like it's great, but when you think how many hours you're going to be there to just do it, you're like, it's not great minus the expenses of travel and then commission to manager that you're like, this sucks.
When renting a car is involved, it's like, now I have to pay for the inevitable stress that I'm going to have driving.
My big obstacle is last time they were like, we pick you up from the airport, it's a shuffle, but it's just one guy in a van and he's like, come sit up front with me. I did, because I don't know how to be like, I don't want to talk to you and I don't feel like I need to talk to you and I just want to kind of lie down in the back seat and listen to music and treat you like an Uber driver. And then what ended up happening is him telling me how much of a C word Hillary Clinton is. I don't care what your political affiliation is, but I find it highly inappropriate to actually go there.
Don't go there
as your job.
Yeah, don't invite me to sit at the front and then use the C word.
And never ask me what my political affiliation is.
Just no regard for your feelings.
How safe was I gonna feel being like, I love Hillary?
Yeah,
with one guy in a van.
She carries hot sauce. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I know I've been doing really being careful of my energy lately. That's kind of what I'm on. Like I went to a show recently to support a friend, and I was feeling sucked dry by some of the people that I was chatting with after the show, because it was some people I hadn't seen in a long time, whatever. I started a rumor that the star of the show was leaving, and there was a stampede towards the door. And then later I talked to the person. They were like, "Oh, that was you that said that." Someone was like, "She's leaving." Well, and I said, "Yes, it was, because I had to get out. I had to get out. I had no choice."
Well, I went to the same thing, and then there was a girl that was like, "I'm driving back to Astoria," and she's like, "I need to go now," and I was like, "Great." It took us 30 minutes to get out the door.
Oh, I know. I hate that.
I like to do, Joe calls it the Nixon goodbye, where you're just like, later, you just go, you're at the door and you're like, bye everybody, and then you're out. But it feels like you have to do shaking hands like a politician down the line. And I don't know. Some people, you're like, I haven't seen you in ages, but there's probably a reason why we're not connecting.
Right. It's a very Midwestern. It's a very Midwestern goodbye, where it's like, well, we're leaving, but tell me everything about yourself. I do not like a goodbye like that. But I think sometimes what happens is, you know, when you're in a setting and then you're not hanging out, and then everybody's kind of like hanging out, and then you're leaving, and it's like, oh, now this is my time to talk to you. But it's like, you had your chance.
Yes.
I've been here.
It's like a game of chicken, where I feel like both parties want to end it and we don't know how.
Yes, because you don't want to put the other person at odds in any way. You don't want to be like, well, I hate you.
Well, it was like this last night. So I went to the hang. It was great. But there's a time where I'm like, I'm in Brooklyn. It takes an hour to get back to Astoria. And the conversation just kept on flowing, and then you're just in your head. So what ends up happening is I feel like I have to do this. I have to go.
Yeah. It's like,
I have to go.
And my cat, he's really sick with his cancer. And you're like, I'm freaking out. I'm losing my mind talking to you right now. I do the same thing, because I have like a very precise social energy bucket. Okay.
Yes.
It's like a battery in a way. And it's like when the battery gets down to 5%, like my phone is shutting down.
I'm panicking.
Like, that's what's happening to me. So it's like, I'll be out, everything's fine. I will hit a wall, and it's like, once I've hit a wall, switch flips, and now I'm being strange. I'm acting like a complete weirdo. Like, do you guys dislike me? Seriously, does everyone hate me?
Yeah.
And I cannot allow myself to get to that point, because people are just horrified.
Yeah.
So I get to a point where I cannot exist socially anymore, and you have to leave. It's like Cinderella.
I leave with the weirdest excuses of like, I got to get up early tomorrow. I have a hair appointment at 11 a.m. They're like,
oh my God.
Is what?
Yeah. I have to feed my dog's friend. I don't have a dog, but I was thinking of getting one. And I
love your dog's friend.
My dog's friend.
Yes, it is panic.
It's panic. Well, hope you'll hang out with us at our upcoming Lady Journey tour. We are planning a tour 2024 fall.
Yeah.
Way out there. We're planning a tour like people plan a wedding. I'm like, we've got 2 years.
2 years, so save the date.
We'll be doing, this is my vision for the tour. We do Sundays, okay? Sundays afternoon. We do a live podcast, and then
like a tea party situation.
Oh, we browse with local vendors, and it only lasts exactly 2 hours.
Yes, a hard out.
Hard out for all, because you need it.
Well, that's what I got invited to a baby shower, and the girl was like, I know how much people hate baby showers. And I was like, I actually prefer baby showers more than weddings, because a wedding is a festival.
Yes, a wedding is a long feast.
Yes.
With, multiple meals, and then there's drinks. And at a certain point you are like, I think I'm tired of the fun.
There's a lot of people here I don't know, where a baby shower is smaller, and it's usually 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will be having a baby shower for Sarah. So if you feel like sending in a gift.
Well, I'm going to try to register. I'll let
Oh yeah.
People know. I find registry to be hard because everything you feel like you need, I'm like, is this just sponsored content that I'm reading and I'm getting hawked a bunch of products that I don't need?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you need the little thing. It's like a little straw that you poke into the baby's butt. And I know, I know that sounds weird, but you have to get it because
I don't even know about this.
It's a thing. I learned of it from one of my girlfriends. It is a straw. This sounds like, you know, you're molesting your kid, but you're not. You poke it into its butt, and if it has gas, it releases it through the straw. And it's like when you have an infant that's gassy,
That's all they cry about.
It can be so distressing. So you just have to poke them in the butt with a straw. Yeah. But you have to buy the straw, and it's like, you know, of course it costs like $85, even though it's like a small piece of plastic.
It's so weird that right out the gate we're always gassy. I'm always gassy.
Always.
It's like a problem in the human design.
It's interesting too because it's like the baby's having milk, which is keto, which is not that gassy. I love it. You're like, my baby's keto.
Yeah.
He's keto for now. He's an infant.
I've been I like to pretend that ask questions like how much time is an appropriate amount of screen time for my baby to make it seem like I'm a bad parent. Like,
yeah,
I'm going to start off with 8 hours of screen time.
Yeah. I mean, he's just sitting there. You know, I don't want him to get bored. Like, he could be learning. He could be learning about Ben Shapiro. I like it. You're like, my baby just really loves Ben Shapiro. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about
voice.
him. It's his voice. It's so soothing.
Yeah.
Well, I want to do the stone dedication because we do have a couple new Patreons. We haven't done it for some episodes now. So I want to say, by the way, if you join our Patreon, we will dedicate a magical gemstone for you. We have a plethora given to us by the lovely Jacob E. Downey.
Super nice.
Jacob, we love you. We love your YouTube channel. Check him out, youtube.com/Jacob E. Downey. He is, I don't know what the word is, like trimming his own gemstones, which is quite cool.
Yeah, my friend just got her kid a rock tumbler. I'm so excited for them.
Ooh, that's what I'm getting you for the baby shower. This is for the baby. This is for the baby. Now we have Patrice. Patrice, welcome aboard. Thank you so much for joining Lady Journey. And I have a very special gemstone for you.
I love turquoise. Turquoise screams for the white lady.
Something about turquoise. I want to bathe in it.
Yes.
I want
bathe. Statement jewelry.
Oh my God. I want a full suit. A baggy, a muumuu of turquoise.
Yes.
It's so gorgeous. And turquoise, I love. It's so significant for the Native American culture because they said it was the color of the sky. So it was very precious to them. But according to the gemstone magic that I read on the internet, it helps connect it helps you connect to the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
Which makes sense if it's, you know, the above and below. So Patrice, I hope you're out there connecting, manifesting
Yes.
your thoughts and getting whatever you choose, whether it be a promotion, a froyo, why not?
It's froyo time.
Oh my gosh, I just had one.
I know, I'm excited. I don't think Astoria has that many froyo. We need a 16 handles.
Oh, we have one in my neighborhood, and I went there. I went there during. Remember a few weeks ago we had that. We had the fire, the smoke.
Yes.
And I canceled my shows, but then I went out for froyo. I was like, I can't go in it, and I was like, well, I'm a little hungry. So I went to 60 Handles, and I got a tub of froyo, and it was $8. That's always one where you're like, I think I put too much froyo.
Especially like, it's funny that you went out where like people were, you shouldn't go out with the smoke. It's bad for you. And then you're about to eat like a thing of fake milk product.
Yeah, I'm like
phosphate.
Breathing in fire. I'm basically eating carbon. I'm just eating like carbonized. It's like highly
Cold
carcinogenic.
carbon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know because you read, you're like, oh, it's good. It's probably dairy and then like fruit. I can get sides with it. And then you read it and you're like, I don't know any of these ingredients.
Oh yeah, it's all weird chemicals. I mean, and you think too, like
soy gum.
Yeah, you're like, ooh, it's better than ice cream. It's like, no, it's not. Ice cream has like 3 ingredients. It's like eggs, milk, sugar, and then like vanilla.
Yeah, and then this is kind of like what chicken nuggets are made out of, but creamy and cold.
Yes, it's like sorghum.
Yeah.
Isolate. They always like to throw that one in there, and it's like, and then like
all
the
kinds
food
of
coloring,
dyes.
Red 4. You're like, isn't that the bad one? Also want to thank another new Patreon subscriber, Carrie Ann. Carrie Ann, welcome aboard, milady. Ahoy. Look how cool this is. I've never seen this gem before.
Almost rose quartz.
Yeah, it looks almost like rose quartz. It is actually kunzite. Kunzite.
Sounds like a slur.
I'm not 100% that I'm pronouncing this properly because it also could be kunzite, which also sounds like a bad word. Kunzite or kunzite. Now this one,
Don't cancel us.
please do not take that out of context. I can't wait until, Lady Journey, we blow up. We're on the road touring. We're touring coffee shops throughout small towns.
Yes.
In the
Soap
East
bars.
Coast and the Midwest, and then they come out with the Joe Rogan version of like us being taken out of context anytime we're making fun of something terrible, and then it's just thing after thing. And
then we have to explain ourselves.
we have to explain and say, no, that's kunzite or kunzite. It's a gemstone. It's a gemstone, and it connects your heart to your mind, Carrie Ann.
Yeah.
This one is a stone of joy, which I thought was really fun because sometimes you go for a long time without actually experiencing joy. Do you ever notice that?
Yes.
Sometimes you go a long time.
You nailed it on the head. That's
or we're both just depressed.
Well, it's just one of those things. Like one time I was explaining Knitting Factory when I was like, you know what it was? I just wasn't having fun. And I remember Mayron was like, yes, that's what that was.
Yes.
It's because sometimes you're like, what is this? And then you realize, because there was no joy.
There was no joy.
Yeah.
There was no joy. And I think I've been really being intentional about trying to experience it every day. Even if I become detached from it, I see something that I like, that I enjoy, like this stone. I allow myself to kind of really get into it. Like, fuck yeah.
Yes.
Kunzite.
Oh, yeah.
Cranzite.
Get
whatever
joy
it's
into
called.
your life.
Get some joy. Allow yourself to experience a little joy. Go up for a froyo. Or regular ice cream.
Yes. Hang out with friends. I'm trying to do that now with summer.
Oh my gosh. Have chips.
Yes.
Kettle chips. What? You naughty. And we got something else fun. We've got some beautiful gifts from a new company that I'm obsessed with. They're called Soul Terra Shop. They gave us a bar of soap.
Where are they from?
They do not have a brick and mortar store, I believe, but I found them on Instagram.
China.
There we go. Is it?
Oh, it's drop shipping.
That's funny.
Just
no.
kidding.
No, it is. No, it is made in the USA. It's made in the USA. I actually became obsessed with this company because they are they're super eco-friendly, and it's a small women-owned business.
This one.
Yeah, I love the scent of that soap. We got a beautiful
put my nose on it.
woodwick candle. How cool is this? The woodwick, and this is 100% soy too. So if we have candle heads out there, you know that this is not going to cause toxins in your home.
Yeah.
And guess what else? They're giving a discount code for Lady Journeyers.
That's exciting.
Yeah, Solterra Shop, and you can use the code Solterra Ladies, SOLTERRALADIES, and you're going to get 10% off the order. And I've already been to the shop. I've actually already bought some stuff from there.
Where are they? Do they have a shop here?
Oh, no. I just went online.
Okay.
Just online. But their stuff is super reasonably priced. This is the type of stuff that, because this is like a small business, the prices are very reasonable. You go in, you're like, oh my God, if this was at Whole Foods, it would be like $45. But because you're getting it straight from the source, it's a great price. And you stock up for Christmas, and then that's when the 10% is going to come in handy.
Yes.
So check them out. We love them. Thank you so much, Solterra. Now we're finally getting into the episode. 23 minutes in. Oh, we've been gabbing away. I want to talk about your IVF. We were talking about that earlier because I think it's such a journey, and we did a little bit of an overview, but
well, it's also really weird because once you tell people that you did that, especially in New York, it's kind of the norm because we wait so late here because you only get money at the last part of your life.
Yeah, the city is so expensive. Having kids in your 20s, it's like, do you want kids or do you want a bed?
It's having kids in your 20s here is a flex. When somebody has kids young, you're like,
absolutely.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I see somebody like a mom with 4 kids in New York City, I'm like, you're a bitch.
Yeah. You're
just
rich.
It's a sign of wealth here,
Yeah.
I feel like. But you find out a lot of people have IVF. You find out it actually is a lot harder to get pregnant than you thought it did.
I know.
And I thought it would be.
I always think about that, and it is becoming a growing concern of mine because you spend, it's kind of like, not to poach from Sex and the City, but the storyline with Charlotte, where it's like in your entire 20s, you're like, oh my God, I was kind of close to a guy's penis.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I might be pregnant.
Yeah. Like, can you get it? Can you get it from snuggling?
Yeah.
Can you get it? And then in your late 30s, you're like, well, I've never been pregnant. Nothing's ever happened. Can I even get pregnant? Was it even a problem? And now it definitely is.
Yes. And then that's why my heart goes out. It's so hard because we have an expiration date because men can just have babies at 70 and 80. And then at that point, I'm like, you're really just a sperm donor.
Yes.
But that's why I had to wait a little longer. Also, my partner at the time didn't want to have kids. And then he changed his mind. And then it was at a time where I was like, ooh, well, this might be difficult.
Yeah.
So we tried. It took 2 years. It took me to get pregnant once every year, and I got pregnant around the same time that I was like, I guess it's a seasonal thing for me. Like,
What's your season?
February.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why it was that
interesting.
way. And then being all that since it was a year apart for each pregnancy, and it never came to fruition, and then it just and then it takes a while for you to start all over again. That we were like, let's just look into IVF because we already had a few friends that were doing it. And it's expensive. And I have thrown it out there. I did it to a girl the other day, and I was like, it's still naive. It's kind of like, well, just move into an apartment on the Upper East.
Yeah.
Just
ask your dad for the money.
Yeah.
Your dad will surely give you the money to buy your own home in Chelsea.
I know. But there are people that kind of like live in that world. And so we did the math. We looked into spring fertility, and that's what I was recommended. And it's, I was kind of hesitant. I actually didn't do any research, but I looked into it. I don't think they didn't really have any lawsuits. I think I saw one, but then I feel like every kind of practice will have a situation.
You're going to have one.
You're not a doctor unless you have a malpractice thing.
Come on, you're going to have one. Now, is that one just here in New York, or is it other places as well?
They have one, and they're in other places, but I think they're in the cities that you would expect to have IVF.
Okay.
Chicago, San Francisco, where it's just like, I guess career. But I bet you there's other clinics. I know there's other clinics. So you do a consultation. And they basically explain pregnancy to you, how to get pregnant, and you're like, wow, I am so uneducated.
Wow.
There's stuff like you think
it's
that
like, do not put it in the butt.
we were doing it in the butt.
Yeah.
That's what we told her. So this is a thing that when I was reading up on all of it, it's like you think that the egg gets released, and then you see in all the movies that the sperm has to swim to it.
Yes.
And it's the sperm and the race to the sperm.
And it's very patriarchal in a way, I think. It's like, there they go, and we're just sitting here
waiting,
gathering as we do.
But really to up your chances is that they say try to have sex around your ovulation every other day because you want the sperm, the jizz, you want the egg to land into it.
Oh, wow.
It's so weird. And then they say the egg actually has a pull. Like it pulls the sperm.
Interesting.
So it's not like, that's why it is. I've seen people on like TikTok talk about like the story of insemination has a patriarchal feel.
It truly does.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, there they go. Like the egg's just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah. Not even aware that there is sperm.
Yeah.
They're like, ow.
Yeah. Collecting dust at home while the sperm's out like working in the corporate sphere.
Yeah. So you find out stuff like that. And then you just find out as you, they say from 35, it drops off immediately, but it's still pretty decent.
Okay.
It's when we started trying when I was 42. So I knew, but you hear these stories and you're like, oh, it'll happen.
Yes. Yeah. It's like everything in a way where, it's like, that'll never be me.
It's always outlier. And then sometimes, you hear, like, I remember just hearing like Janet Jackson got pregnant at 53. really release a lot. I feel like a lot of celebrities do not release information about stuff. Like,
right.
I think a lot of them that are having kids later, they don't share that they went through IVF or it was a lot of work to get there and money.
Yeah. It's like, oh, she just fell pregnant
at 45.
Yeah.
You're like, it's really hard to do that. So we looked into it, and then we just started to plan it, and it just made sense when they did the math of like, and at my age, the percentage, if we harvested my own eggs, being all that I went through 2 miscarriages, the percent was like, it was going to be $60,000 at 3% chance of having a baby be born.
That's so low.
It is low. And then
3%. It's like, why not 1?
I know. Well, you're like, if you were in business and somebody said, give me $60,000 and you have a 3% chance that you will get anything in return, you would be like, I don't know if I want to do that business transaction.
Yeah, it sounds like a spam email.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you'll get it back. No, you'll get it back.
Yeah.
You'll get it back.
You're going to see results. So I was like, those chances are so low, and I was already, getting older, that the other option they said was egg donor, and that, these girls, we didn't do, we call it like a live surrogate, where we find somebody that would do it for us. Because I talked to another girl, she went through chemotherapy, and that's why her eggs wouldn't work.
Okay.
And so I talked to her, and I asked her everything emotional level, and she said, no, they feel like your own kids. But I also, women that have their own kids with their own DNA don't have also an attachment to their kids. A lot of women. So DNA doesn't mean shit, really.
Yeah. You're still growing the baby inside of you, and it's like, that's got to count for something.
Exactly. And then some people asked for adoption, and it just wasn't something that worked for Joe and I. I was like, I don't feel like a hero.
Right.
And we were like, we still want, Joe had a chance for his DNA. So we were like, well, it's still an option. And then also adoption. I had stories of friends doing surrogates, and surrogate backing out at the last minute.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what the girl with the live surrogate, if you were doing an egg donor, or the person that was going to donate eggs in real time, like they have to go through a whole process of injections and hormone. And so a lot of them will back at the last minute. And being all that you go through so much screening, it takes months, that we just went with a bank with the girl that had already donated.
Okay.
So it's just a transaction for her, and she's moved on and got her. So she's already gone through the whole process.
Yeah, and she doesn't need to be involved until 21 years from now.
Yes.
When you guys contact her for
out of nowhere
for the reality
money.
show. Yeah. Hi, we have your son. Well, it's a complicated issue, and I do feel like women that are in your situation, it does leave you vulnerable to a lot of judgments in terms of like what choice that you're making that's right for you. But it's like, you do have to keep in mind, like, if you are going through that, it's like, it is truly what's right for you, and you don't need to.
Yes. And I don't need to explain, and everything is for everybody. And if you can do the other routes and you have the resources for that, then that's like amazing.
100%.
Good for you. Perfect for you.
It feels like the right of motherhood almost is like, now people can just tell you what they would do. Yes. Like that's just like somehow a big part of it. It's like, well, I would have adopted. You're like, okay, well, that's cool.
That's cool.
That's
and I love
fine.
it. And I do have a lot of friends that are adopted, and it's just,
adoption
you
is
feel
an
like you're
amazing
being
thing.
insulting to them, being like, oh, we didn't want to do that. I've seen you. Yeah. So it's just like difficult. So yes, we decided egg donor, and then also egg donor was half as much. I think it was close to 20,000. We were like, it's a car.
It's a car. It's a car, baby.
It's a manageable price compared to the other one with no return. With this was something like a 60% chance of having
that's much
baby
better.
come to full, that we were like, oh, this just seems like a full, like a better business transaction.
Yes.
I know it feels so callous to say it that, but you're like, there's no other way that I can explain it of why we went this route.
Yeah, because also going like, like you're saying, like with the IVF, it's like now you're doing rounds and rounds. Some people, that they've had like
I think
4 or 5
4,
rounds
yeah.
of the IVF at $60,000 each round, and it's like, okay,
You're going into financial turmoil.
yeah. Like, and by the way, like you come out like, sorry, honey, we cannot afford college because you are your own college. you took the college money for yourself.
You did this
coming into life. Yeah.
So yeah, so we did that, and then it's like interesting. Even after that, so we get the 6 eggs. You get them in a batch.
Okay.
And and then they inseminate them, and then out of the 6, only 1 made it.
Oh, that is
out of it
scary.
A 25-year-old egg.
It's 25 years old.
No, the girl that
she's
she's around that age. Yeah,
okay.
like
I was
college
like, wow.
age.
I didn't realize you were getting one of those like time travel babies.
There was a really interesting story that I read a few months ago. There was a couple that picked out an embryo that has been around since 1991.
Yes.
It was conceived before they were ever conceived.
Unbelievable.
So the baby's like a different generation. It's so fascinating.
Wild. The science is truly, I mean, this is the stuff that just fascinates me, and it's where science is like evolving in a way that's like truly, I think, unique and cool, not like AI, where it's like, I guess we just don't need humans anymore. Like that type of stuff I find really cool.
Oh yeah, like it's amazing that they can freeze something and then unfreeze it. Like we sat on the embryo for probably 4 months.
Okay.
It was just frozen.
Wow.
How does that? I don't understand how something, but I just unfroze chicken enchilada casserole and it was still really good.
Okay, there you go. That's science. That's my new catchphrase. And that's science.
And that is science. So I guess things are still good when you freeze them. So we knew the sex, and then my uteral lining, that I kept having all these obstacles. Like, so we were in the middle of IVF, and then I got pregnant, and that took out 6 months of it because you form scar tissue when you're miscarriaging, and they don't want to do an embryo transfer, and it lands on the scar tissue, and that's where it needs to get like blood and
it needs to get
nutrients
the nutrients,
and stuff.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had to go through 2 procedures to smooth out my uterus.
And now it's very smooth.
Oh, it's so young in there.
Oh, you can slip right off of it.
And so that took a process. So it took 2 tries. So there was a lot of stuff that I canceled. So if I canceled you between October to December, it's all because of that.
Sorry.
Yeah, my bad. And then finally we got to January after the holidays, and then we tried. That was when we were like, let's just do it.
And meanwhile, this entire time you're like injecting yourself.
Yeah, because I kept secretly ovulating. Because everything's down to the T. They're like, okay, you have an 8-hour window. We think you might be ovulating, so we need to try to get your lining as thick as possible for you to ovulate. And then all of a sudden I would just ovulate.
Oh.
And so because of that, then I had to inject stuff to get to slow down the ovulation that it wouldn't happen. So and those are smaller injections into the fat of your stomach, and that was easy to do. Like, you're all scared about doing it. So then we finally did it, and then it took, but then I'm trying to wrap it up.
No.
Okay.
No, take your time. I think it's fascinating.
And then, so did the transfer, and then it's just weird because you're just like, you have a team of scientists hold you down on 1 Valium. So it is like a weird situation.
1 Valium is nothing.
It is, and they were like,
might as well give me a glass of water.
I didn't feel anything on 1 Valium, and I'm trying to like work on a joke where they're like, they did want me to get a friend to come pick me up.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, for 1 Valium? Like, it's like they've never partied before. I've like driven home in a blackout. So I would be fine, but for show, I just had my friend come meet me, and then we walked down to the lobby, and then I was like, I'm good, you're good, and I gave him my extra Valium, and then we just went our separate ways.
Great.
Made it home fine. Went about my day. It's so weird where you're like, you're just walking around, and you're like, oh, I'm pregnant now, and it wasn't a magical moment.
Yes. It wasn't like passion filled. It was just like science.
It's science.
Now, when you were doing the injections, like, was that affecting you hormonally, like emotionally, to get like that much? Because you were getting like progesterone, right?
Yes.
Progesterone injections.
The first one for the ovulation wasn't so much hormonal. It's small, but like to trick my body, because it didn't know what was going on at that point.
Yeah.
Because we inserted the embryo, so it has no idea that I'm getting pregnant. So you have to trick the body. So we have to inject me with progesterone, and it was so my body wouldn't have like contractions and get it out or something like that. So somebody correct me if you know more about this. That's the thing is, I'm really bad as a specimen. You tell me all these things, I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's
I'm
so
like,
hard
whatever.
when you're like doing a medical procedure, and it's like now you're supposed to be like the expert in it. You're like, I thought I was paying you guys. Like every time you get your hair cut, you're like, now I know hair.
Yeah.
Somehow.
So
like,
I guess
it's hard.
Yeah. All I was like, is this gonna give me cancer? And they're like, no, it should be fine. It's a small enough dosage.
Oh, good.
So you do progesterone shots for 16 weeks, and the needle's this big, and you have to do it in your butt, and it's a thick oil. So I had to like push so hard, and Joe's like, I can't do this, and he goes, if I had to do IVF, we wouldn't have kids.
That's.
I'm like, you shouldn't tell me that. But
Yeah.
I didn't mind. There were times when you can inject yourself and you're like, it doesn't feel bad. And then I kind of got into the ritual of it where you're like, I laid my things down. I knew exactly how I needed it to be done. So it was perfect to do it by myself. But I had to switch off from left and right because it's a thick oil. So you can't be just injecting yourself in the same spot over and over for 16 weeks, or you would just have like bruises all over you.
Oh my gosh.
And because it takes a while for it to disperse because it's thick. So I would do 2 on, like, 2 days in a row on this side, 2 days in a row on this side, and I would just switch over back and forth. And then so I had to do it in like green room bathrooms of comedy club. I felt like a drug addict.
Excuse me, guys.
I got to inject.
I need to. That's wild.
Well, there were times where I'm like, you just feel, you're like, I'm going to the restroom, and then you just be gone forever. And then I would be breaking out needles in the stall, putting it on the dirty tampon box.
Oh my God.
Like
wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you just, hey, I'm just going to do heroin really quick. Just before my set. I kind of need it.
It just got weird. And then, so I was okay. It wasn't until the last week that I was just tired of shooting myself up. And I was getting, I called it senioritis.
Yeah.
You're just ready for it to be done.
Yeah.
And then there are side effects of progesterone that I didn't really pick up on. It makes you so out of breath.
Oh, interesting.
Like walking up these stairs, I would just be like, having to take breaks, and then just like day to day, you could just hear me in the kitchen being like,
I did not know that was a side effect of it. Well, because I am on a very low, tiny dose of progesterone for my birth control. And I also get out of breath sometimes too. Yeah. So now I think it's that. Like anything, I'm like, I have that. I think I have that.
Well, nobody really told me about that. And then I looked at, I was like, it's short of breath. And then it's like one of the things at Google that doesn't even show a website. It's like, when they find the common knowledge everywhere.
Shortness of breath.
Yeah. But the thing is with the hormones, like I have to tell you, I'm so unaware of my emotions until like months later to process it.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I didn't feel like I went through a lot. I think I was so depressed though, because it's kind of isolating, and you have to keep everything a secret because you're not supposed to, it's like, you don't want to tell everyone that you're pregnant because they're going to be like, how's it going? Yeah. And then you're like, well, I had a miscarriage. And it's just like a bummer for everybody. So it's just easier to be kind of alone in the process. And then, just like that first trimester, you're just sick and tired, and you just want to do the bare minimum that I just was bummed. And then the weather at that time, we're coming out of winter, and you're thinking, oh, hope. Yeah. And it's just cold and wet. And so I was just bummed. I didn't see anybody.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough. But now you're glowing.
Now I'm glowing. I'm in the sweet spot.
You're in the sweet spot, but you're not doing any injections now, right?
No, I'm totally done.
Oh, thank God.
All I have to do is just they want me on calcium. I take a lot of calcium because I guess it's a parasite. It just
It
sucks all
sucks.
your nutrients
You're
out.
eating for two.
Yes. He's
fun.
eating.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing. You think you should eat a lot. They say only 200 more calories. And you're like, that's
What?
nothing.
What's the point?
I know.
I thought I was going to get to pig out on ice cream.
No, you're like, it's just one Nutri-Grain bar.
Wow.
Extra Nutri-Grain bar that you get to
I guess
eat.
he is really small.
Yeah.
You're eating for two, but one of you is like this big.
Yeah, he's tiny. I know. Every time you see the ultrasound, it feels like you have a full-grown baby in you, and then like, oh, he's the size of a gummy bear, and you're like, well, he's a lot.
Yeah.
He's
There's
dramatic.
a lot
down
going
there.
on.
Yeah.
I feel like I told Mike this. I'm like, if I were to fall pregnant, I feel like I would use it as a manipulation tactic. To be like,
Absolutely.
I just think the baby really wants a massage right now and nails. The baby needs froyo.
Yeah, I need to go. I keep my manipulation tactics in a vault right now because I'm like, I don't want to waste them. They're like
Yes.
face masks.
Yes, yes.
Only
You're-
on special occasions.
One at a time.
Yeah.
One at a time. Yeah. I know. Meanwhile, I just burn myself out immediately. And then like second trimester, Mike's like, I'm done. Get your own ice cream. You're fine.
I know you're full of shit. Try it in the first trimester. Second trimester is nice, but I think you can go back to manipulation tactics in the third trimester.
Once you get the big old bump.
yeah,
Once
and
you
then
get the big old
people
bump, then
see
you're
it.
like, oh, excuse me.
I know.
I need a seat on the train and also your nachos.
well, no
Yes.
one sees it, so it just looks like you're bloated.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're just some bloated bitch.
I always give my seat to a pregnant lady on the train, but I do think it's funny that it's a little bit ironic because it's like, well, you're kind of the reason that it's crowded in here.
Yeah.
Okay, stop making people, bitch. Stop making
it's
people.
too many. Yeah. But anybody that's interested or going through the same issue, I would recommend Spring Fertility. Like, they were always. I had the same doctor the whole entire time, and they were great. And they have a staff that, like, anytime
Oh,
you
that's
needed
good.
something, they have correspondence. So if you can't reach your doctor, she has assistants that are always on deck.
Oh, that's good. I mean, it is like it's like it's a very precise thing, like doing all these injections, getting the ovulation right. It's like, that's what you need. You need somebody that's going to like respond to you and not just
Yeah.
like not get back to you or like pass you off to somebody else. It's a whole thing.
Because you have like a history. Because you are like, there's bleeding. Am I okay? Like, pregnancy and miscarriages can have the same symptoms, and you're like, well, that's fucked up.
Yeah, yes.
They're
Yeah.
like, well, bleeding can be good, but it's also bad. There's no answer.
Oh
So
my
you do
gosh.
have to you have to reach out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
And there's just like funky stuff the whole time. And I Google most of it, but like, it's weird. I have to wear a panty liner the whole time because your vagina is just cleaning itself nonstop.
I have heard of that. I heard like that's one of the many things that nobody talks about, where it's like you just wearing a pad the entire time because like cells are being flushed. And it's like, oh, well, I mean, I guess I could see why you don't bring that up at brunch. But
it's so weird because you're like, I'm like 15 again.
your body's changing.
It's just it keeps it disinfected in there.
Oh, that's good.
So
Just
it's
flushing
good.
away.
It's a good thing, but at
Yeah.
the same time, you're like, I'm so gross.
Yeah, you're like, I have no clean underwear. I'm doing laundry every week. Although, I mean, I go through underwear. This is very a lady journey, but like I change my underwear like 3 times a day. I'm like, oh,
In the
I
summer?
walked around. I got a little hot. Like, new pair.
Yeah.
It feels like the ultimate luxury treating yourself. I'm like, I always wonder, like, I drop my laundry off to a guy named Charles who he has a little place in our building. I'm like, I always wonder if it's like 3 t-shirts and 80 pairs of panties.
I know. He's like, here comes old yellow stains. I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
they should just have disposable underwear.
Just throw it into the ocean.
Yeah, that's what I do. I go down to the East River and I throw my underwear in there.
Bye. Well, we were talking about panty lines earlier, which I feel like it's just inescapable. Now that
It's so frustrating.
with skinny jeans, I almost felt that the skinny jean was like definitely a slightly friendlier to the panty line because it would just hug the whole body. So even if you had, now we have like these jeans that are like hugging the butt, but they're like more drapey. And I feel like I have a panty line every day and everyone can see it.
Oh, especially with leggings too. I'm dressed like a 9-year-old girl right now.
Yeah.
You know, when because they have bad underwear and they wear leggings all the time.
Yes. And it's not that like necessarily I have like a big thick panty line. It's that my underwear is like so tight that even it just like bisects my butt. So now I have like 2 butt cheeks basically on each cheek.
Yeah,
and
it
it's
cuts
just
the muffin
out
in
there.
half.
Yes, it just cuts
Yeah.
it in half.
It's frustrating. I have to find new underwear as well.
Yeah, I can imagine that's tough for you with your little bellies growing.
Yeah. Well, I told you I want one big underwear.
Just a giant full body underwear.
A tank top to biker shorts.
I've been saying it for years. We should just all be wearing one full body suit and be done with it. Although then it's hard to pee.
It is, but then maybe just like a button, like a onesie.
It should zip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want. But yeah, that's my IVF journey. If anybody's ever interested in
IVF journey.
going where you figure out what you want to do or like what place you think is good for you.
Absolutely. And let us know if you have tips and tricks. Comment below. And good luck to anybody out there who is doing an IVF journey, because I do think this is something that as a society we're all starting to talk about more and more. And
It's like everybody. I feel like so many people have done IVF.
so many people are doing it, and now you know that you don't need to be alone in the shame and angst that is caused by it, because we can talk about it openly, and I think that's great.
Well, it feels like you're like, are we becoming like French bulldogs where we're not supposed to exist?
We're just
They like artificially
being,
inseminate them.
inbreeded. Yeah. I think it's the same with don't they also have to like they're born by cesarean as well? Yeah.
They'll
because
destroy the mom.
They just
will kill her.
Yeah, I know. I think that's all people. It's like we're just, especially like Americans, it's like we have 80 allergies.
Well, that's the other thing too. You just realize how horrific actual like pregnancy is.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough, and but we will tell you everything.
Yeah.
We'll tell you everything. Sarah,
tune in.
You'll tell, and I will chime in. I'll chime in with my thoughts. Like, women are heroes. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you enjoyed our episode, please help us out by liking and subscribing on YouTube below. Like and subscribe. Please give us a review on Apple Podcasts, 5-star only.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're a misogynist. And please join our Patreon if you have the time and inclination. Thank you.
Lady Journey.
Lady Jenny.